Wow, Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels reacts to some of the fan criticism about his decision-making throughout this past game against the Rams. Plus, Davante Adams appears to have left the locker room right after the game. He does not seem happy. Raider Nation is falling apart. They're fighting each other at SoFi Stadium. Darren Waller is getting roasted by fans after posting his new music video. Like this video and hit that subscribe button. Let me know what number like you are when you like this video. So Josh Jacobs hurt his pinky last night and he was completely run into the ground during last night's game, had about 27 carries, and the Raiders only attempted to pass the football 20 times. Even though it seemed to be working, they were getting 7 yards per reception when passing the football. But Josh McDaniels claims he didn't call plays any differently today.
Now, just because somebody calls something, which there was a number of them called last night, doesn't mean that the ball's ultimately going to get fired down the field or we're going to have great success. When we've had success this year, it's been the result of everybody doing their job well. I didn't call the game any differently yesterday than I have any other game this year offensively, and I just felt like we didn't have as much success taking advantage of a few opportunities that were presented.
You see, he seems to be blaming it all on the players not taking any responsibility for any of the decisions he made throughout the game. Josh Jacobs is undergoing tests right now, and we'll see how injured he really is. He appeared to dislocate his pinky during the game, and after getting injured, what does genius Josh do? The second that Josh Jacobs is back in the game, he has him attempt a halfback pass, but you can see Jacobs bails on the play. Maybe he just couldn't handle the pain of throwing a football when he has a messed up pinky. I don't really know what Josh McDaniels was thinking putting Jacobs in that situation. And it's not only plays like that. Last night we talked about a halfback draw on 3rd and 5 when you're already in field goal range. Why are you not attempting to pass the football in that situation? And at the end of the game, you just run it 3 times with 3:15 left. Vinny B is talking about it right here. And you did this weird formation where Jacobs is lined up at fullback and you got Davante Adams at running back. When you got Jacobs at fullback, I think everybody in the building knows you're going to do a fullback dive with the guy. And early in the game, we converted a 4th and 1 Derek Carr QB sneak. Why did we not call that play again in that situation, especially when the Rams are without Aaron Donald? But the poorest decision making that Josh McDaniels made was the fact that he just did not try to get the football to Davante Adams at all. Davante Adams only had 2 targets in the second half, and one of them came on the final play of the game when Derek Carr just threw it up in the final seconds. So really, in non-garbage time, Davante Adams only had 1 target in the second half. And it's not like the dude was doing poorly in the first half. He was balling out over Jalen Ramsey and was able to pick up over 70 yards. And you have Davante Adams leaving the locker room immediately. This was reported by Levi Damien. When the media went to the locker room last night, Davante was already gone. And Davante Adams always answers questions after we take L's, even after the Colts game. When we lost to Jeff Saturday, Davante Adams stood there and answered questions and spoke to the media, even though it made him uncomfortable. And it just seems like he's even more frustrated now than he was before, and it's because the Raiders really had a shot to run the table and make the playoffs. And the Rams were a perfect victim this week, but Davante Adams found himself in another game where he is just not targeted at all by Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr in the second half of the game after having tons of success in the first half. And Josh McDaniels has now blown 4 games while leading by 13 points, breaking records here, joining the 98 Colts, 96 Jets, and the 82 Rams, only one of 4 teams to do this in league history. But the Raiders locker room is frustrated, and it does seem like people are upset, people are losing faith, and it's going to be interesting to see if Davante Adams criticizes the play calling or if he's going to criticize some other players on the team. But Josh McDaniels seems to be okay with his play calling. He claims he didn't do anything different this time, and he's also backing up Patrick Graham at the very end of the game, calling a ridiculous play. Dan Orlovsky laughing at it, say, why the heavens did the Raiders play single high man on the last play? Baker Mayfield even talked about this, saying that he was completely shocked when he saw them do press man coverage with only 15 seconds left.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was completely shocked that they lined up in press coverage with 15 seconds.
Sherm was a little aggravated.
Here's what Josh McDaniels had to say.
I don't think we did a great job of executing, being on top of the player the way that we would like to, but again, we can always look back at that and, choose something else and play a softer zone and give them opportunity to find somebody in some space. And I know the time was a little bit of a factor. They still could have completed a ball and then clocked it and those kind of things. So,
and he's expecting the players to execute. Yeah, you're going to expect Sam Webb, an undrafted free agent, undrafted rookie, to go ahead and cover Van Jefferson, who even when Cooper Kupp and even when Robinson are healthy, he is the 3rd best receiver on the Rams team. So you basically had the Rams best receiver go one-on-one with Sam Webb, man coverage press with no help from your safety at all. And Josh McDaniels McDaniels even says, oh, if we would have played soft zone, they could have caught it and then got tackled and then quickly spiked it with 15 seconds left, bro. I don't think they would. And even if they would have, you only have one more play left in you. The clock is going to be ticking. They made a horrible decision there, man, and it sketched a lot of people out. And you know what? Dan Orlovsky's right here. That's bad coaching. And if Baker Mayfield's going out of his way to say, hey, man, you guys made it super easy on me, then there's a problem with the play call, Josh McDaniels. It's not just about execution. And this is what Derek Carr's brother's even saying on social media. These are mistakes that you see in high school, not professional football. And it's leading to frustration from the fan base. You got fans, Raiders fans, fighting each other now after this game, super frustrated with Josh McDaniels, and a Rams fan is filming it, just straight laughing at us. LeJuan James here filming it, and really, Raiders fans, we got to get it together. We can't be doing this, man. We can't be fighting like this, you know, after we take an L, especially against some of our own fans and our own people. It looks bad. It's not good. Think of the children who could be there witnessing this. But at the same time, I don't blame these Raiders fans for blowing off a little steam, because I think Josh McDaniels and the Raiders offense made a lot of fans want to punch somebody. And it was Josh McDaniels' decision to not play Darren Waller this week, even though he was eligible to return. And he said, hey, if the coaches want me to play against the Rams, I am ready to go. But Josh McDaniels decided to not have this guy play. And then he ended up dropping a new music video today, which is kind of odd timing since the Raiders just have taken a huge L. And it kind of pissed a lot of fans off. You got some positive comments here, but then you got a lot of people saying this is what you do when you're not on the field. You're making rap videos. Season is over. Thanks for helping the team out, bud. And then someone else says Damon Arnett flashbacks. Oh my God, someone's calling this guy that way. And to drop this after another Raiders loss, he hasn't played in pretty much 2 seasons. Man, the Raiders better trade this rapper for a football player. Oh my goodness. I understand fans' frustration with Darren Waller, and it is disappointing, but I am actually more disappointed in some of the decision making by the coaching staff throughout this game. And hey, he could have played this week and Josh McDaniels chose not to play him. He said he was ready to go. So yeah, it does suck that Waller hasn't played that much this year, but he still would have really helped this team out against the Rams, and it wasn't his choice as to why he didn't play. And former Raiders offensive coordinator Greg Olsen actually got a game ball by the Rams and Sean McVay. Apparently he gave them some pretty good intel on the Raiders and Derek Carr, and maybe helped them slow down this rushing attack in this offense.
Coach, real quick. All right, was with the Raiders. Now he's with us. Where's Greg Olsen, man?
Oh my goodness. So Greg Olsen gets some praise from his Rams colleague, and maybe a lot of Raiders fans are hoping that we had, or wishing that we had, Greg Olsen right now to help do some of these play calls, because Derek Carr only having 20 passing attempts, even though it seemed to be working out. You had the one interception before halftime. It was kind of a freak interception. Derek Carr was kind of hit as he's thrown. But other than that, you had 7 yards per reception. It seemed like they were clicking. And instead, what Josh McDaniels chose to do was to run Josh Jacobs in the ground, even though he had a dislocated pinky. And even going into this game, he was limited in practice with a calf injury. So the big stories now are, who is Davante Adams frustrated with? What is making him just leave the locker room immediately after the game? What is Josh McDaniels' confidence in Derek Carr? Is he not confident in him, and that's why he decided not to throw the football? Are they on the same page, and maybe it was just a lack of execution as to why everything didn't work out? Oddly enough, Derek Carr was not that frustrated at this press conference, even though you saw some emotional ones, especially after the Jeff Saturday loss. And now the Raiders are 5-8, and it would be an absolute miracle for them to make the playoffs. You can pretty much kiss it goodbye unless they win all the way out. But if you can't beat the Rams and Baker Mayfield, I highly doubt you could beat the Patriots. I highly doubt you're going to beat the Chiefs or the Niners this year, even with Brock Purdy at quarterback. And keep in mind, the Raiders still have to play the Steelers on Christmas Eve, and Mike Tomlin's always been a competitive coach. So since we're trapped and stuck with Josh McDaniels, according to Mark Davis, because he loves the guy, it's going to be interesting to see who Josh McDaniels decides to keep for next year, who he puts his faith in. Will he make any depth chart changes for the rest of the season? And I think the way these next few games play out, how you see them interact on the sideline, will help us determine what the plans could be in the future, because we know Derek Carr still has that 1 year out in his contract. And if the Raiders lose the rest of their games and they end up only with 5 wins, you can still have a pretty high draft pick with 5 wins. Either way, let me know what the future holds for the Raiders this season. Like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to this channel for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.